Welcome to Detroit. Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes. I will beat your ass. You can drown them. And that's what we gotta be. That's who we have to be. Because that's our domain. That is our domain. Because we'll tread water as long as it takes to fucking bury you.
Takes the snap, turns, gives to Montgomery, right side, end zone, touchdown, Detroit Lions! Yes.
We are driven by Detroit.
Hello, Detroit Lions friends, fans, and family members. Welcome on back to yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. I'm your host, David T. Pike. And as always, we're diving on in. So folks, for today's episode, this is going to be talking about news that was just literally released about, an hour or so ago. As we all know, typically when, the training camp period is getting set to start, the coaches of the team, they will come out and they will do a press conference, kind of be like, okay, this is who we have coming in, how the players did in terms of conditioning tests, how they look as far as where they're coming in, getting ready for camp, whole 9 yards. And the reason why this particular bit of news that we're going to talk about is, once again, just kind of like, body shots just keep, piling up for the Detroit Lions, is that already, once again, we're getting into this very uncomfortable, very, just headache of a position where, again, injuries are becoming a problem. We haven't even stepped out on the damn field yet, and injuries are already becoming a problem. Now, I'm just going to say this right now. Injuries are a part of the game. You expect them. You deal with them. You move on with them. But the problem that I'm having here, and I know that a lot of Lions fans are having here, is that we cannot seem to catch a break when it comes to the defense's, ability to get injuries. And the reason I'm saying this is because in the press conference that, Dan Campbell just had, it was announced that before we even did anything, Levi Enrique is not going to be playing for the entire year. He's going to be out because he has a knee injury, which a lot of people are already, kind of connecting the dots and saying, okay, it's got to be a tore ACL. And it's like, dude, as much as I like what Levi Enrique has done for us in spots in the past, it's like, dude, this, I don't know how else to describe it when it comes to Levi. I just don't. This guy has turned out to probably be one of, I would say it, and I hate saying it, but it's kind of the truth. It's kind of like this would probably be the first time I would say that Brad Holmes has had a draft bust. Because it's like when we drafted Levi back in 2021, our second-round draft pick, this guy came in and was expected to be this player that, could help solidify the defensive line, could become an internal pass rusher, could do all of these things for us, and it has just not worked out. And when it comes to Levi, it's always been the injury problem. Whether it's been his back, now it's the knee. I mean, it just always seems that he is dealing with some type of injury concern, and he can never just stay out on the field and can fully be able to play like we know he can play from when we saw him in college. And it's just like, dude, it's like for a guy that we have invested as much as we've invested in, it becomes very annoying. It becomes very aggravating. But what makes this particular news that much more aggravating, that much more annoying, that much more troublesome is the fact that, okay, Brad Holmes went out this offseason, brought back Levi Enrique on a 1-year deal, of which was only $5 million, so it's like, okay, you know what, it's not that big of a deal as far as the contract is concerned. But now we're not going to get him at all because he's got a tore ACL, or he's got some type of knee injury where he cannot play for the entirety of the season. And the reason why this is such a problem, the reason why that this is such an absolute headache, is that all offseason, Lions fans have been waiting for one bit of news. When in the absolute hell are we going to bring back Ziggy Smith? Because it's like, okay, here. You brought back Marcus Davenport, a guy with injury concerns. You brought him back on yet another one-year deal. So far, thank God, we have not heard anything bad about Marcus Davenport. In fact, everything we've heard about him so far is pretty damn good. Hey, you know what? He looks to be in the best shape of his life. Hey, you know what? It looks like his body is moving in the right direction. Hasn't been having any problems. So that's good news. But with everybody, when you talk about Marcus Davenport, the first thing that they think of is, okay, how long is that going to last? When is the other shoe going to drop? Because nobody has any sort of confidence that Marcus Davenport is going to be able to stay healthy for a full season. But the one kind of upside to all of that was to say, okay, you know what? We're getting back Hutch. We just drafted Hazanin. We've got back Muhammad, and you know what? Levi has shown that if you put him out on the edge, he can actually help out in the edge department a little bit. But now it's like, well, wait a minute here. Levi's not playing at all this year. Levi is not going to be able to play. So now the Lions are not only down an interior defensive lineman, of which we're also already down one, in the fact that Ali McNeil's not going to be coming back until probably after mid-season. And then on top of that, you already don't have, Zadarius Smith in camp because you cut him back a couple of months ago, and everybody's been wondering when in the hell you're going to bring him back. It's like, okay, it's like this defensive line unit is getting more reshuffled like a deck of Uno cards by the day. And it's getting rather old. And the reason why it's getting rather old is because I watched the whole freaking press conference by Dan Campbell. And the one thing that he was more concerned about, I'm not saying he shouldn't have been concerned about, but was more concerned about, was the offensive line rather than the defensive line. And it's like, wait a minute here. Back up here for just half a second. Yes, I understand. We don't have Frank Ragnow. Yes, I understand Kevin Zeitler's not here. But it's like, we still have Graham Glasgow. Mahogany did pretty well for us last year in terms of filling in when Zeitler wasn't able to play. We just got Tate Ratledge signed to a contract. He did damn well in college, so it's like, okay, at least there, while we are trying to figure out, how that whole offensive line is going to shake out and how it's going to look as far as the starters are for the season, at least the talent is there. At least we're not losing guys. At least we're not having to deal with the fallout of, oh, well, this guy's not going to be able to play until this particular time, or this guy's not going to be able to play because he's dealing with this. The only offensive line issue that we've had so far as reporting is concerned, is that Taylor Decker had to have some work done on his shoulder, had to clean something out, but he should be ready by the time the Hall of Fame game gets going, which, oh, that's right, that's the first game of the preseason, which means with him being an experienced vet, I'm not worried about that. He should be more than ready to go before the regular season starts. So it's like, okay, offensively, we're in a much better place as far as health, as far as stability, as far as player talent, than where we are in terms of the defensive line. Because it's like, dude, we don't have Ali McNeil. We don't have Levi Enrique. We haven't brought back Zadarius Smith. It's like, dude, it's like, how much more are you possibly going to expect this reshuffled deck to be able to absorb before you get up off your duff and say, hey, let me just call Zadarius Smith and let's just get him back in here so that way, not only, one, we can get some stability with the damn defensive line, but also, number two, we can bring back a fan favorite, and also, number three, we can bring back a guy that clearly wants to be here. Like, I've tried my best. I sincerely have, and you guys all know this. I have tried my best to have a positive, enthusiastic output when it comes to the defensive line, when it comes to the whole situation of Brad Holmes and, his undertaking as far as what he's doing. But this is just one of those situations where, I'll be honest, my patience has kind of run out. I don't know what the hell else Brad Holmes is waiting on to justify bringing back Zadarius Smith. I just don't know what the hell else he's waiting for. You don't have McNeil, a great internal pass rusher. You now don't have Levi Enrique, another guy who was also a pretty good internal pass rusher. You've got a guy in Marcus Davenport who, yeah, we've heard great things coming out of camp, But can you realistically, honestly, look me dead square in the face and tell me, yeah, I expect this guy to play a full 17-game season? When, oh, that's right, by the way, he's never done it before. The only guy that I feel comfortable with is the same only guy I have felt comfortable with as far as our veterans are concerned, and that's Hutch. Oh yeah, sure, I still have a lot of optimism, I still have a lot of hope, I have a lot of grandeur when it comes to Hazanin. And you know what? Muhammad, I also feel pretty good about him too. But again, what did we hear about, the edge rushing component all damn offseason from Holmes? I want to have 3 guys. I want to have 4 guys. I want to have 5 guys. I want to have multiple guys who can do the edge rushing position. Well, you just lost one in Levi Enrique. And now Muhammad can't do anything because he's taking care of an injury. Granted, again, it's a minor one. But now it's like, okay, you're coming into camp, and instead of having 4 or 5 guys, what you were expecting to have, now you're down to 3. And one of them's a rookie, one of them's an all-pro, and the other guy is an all-injury designation. Not exactly the most, how should I say it, thing that I would feel, comfortable with. So it's like, why are we not bringing in Ziggy Smith? Like, what about Za'Darius has, been so detrimental to bringing him in that you simply have not gotten a deal done? Because it's like, a couple of days ago, everyone was wondering about when we were going to bring in Tate Ratledge. And you know what? After I released that episode, I'm not saying it had anything to do with it, but I did have a point when I was like, hey, you know what? When the 49ers signed their second-round draft pick to a not fully guaranteed contract, I was like, hey, you know what? It seems like a domino effect is about to happen here where all the other guys are probably going to start signing theirs. And that's exactly what happened. But the whole thought process with Za'Darius Smith has been, okay, the closer and closer we get to training camp, he's not wanting to be in minicamp, he's not wanting to be in OTAs, he just wants to go to training camp, and you want to know, just hit the ground running. Training camp starts literally in 2 days for every single team in the NFL. Pretty much on Tuesday, everybody's going. And it's like, okay, here. What exactly are you waiting for? What exactly is the last bit of, whatever that is preventing you from signing a guy that clearly wants to be here? I've said it before, I'll say it again. Za'Darius Smith, even though the guy's 32, 33 years old, last year was still a top 10 edge rusher in terms of pass rush win rate. And it's like all offseason, we've heard everybody and their brothers say, Za'Darius Smith says he wants to come back to Detroit. Za'Darius Smith himself has said it, I want to come back. The only person in this equation that is not matching up with the reality of the situation is Brad Holmes. It's like, I don't know what exactly it is he is seeing with our edge rushing room, but it's like everything that he's been saying over the course of the offseason versus what, the actual reality of the situation is, it's not meshing up. And when you lose Levi Enrique, a guy who can play both inside and outside, you don't have Aleem McNeil, and now you're putting a whole bunch of pressure on rookies like Hazanin and Williams to come in essence, bail your ass out if for whatever reason something should go wrong, which, oh, that's right, we haven't even started training camp and already plenty of things have gone wrong. It's like, I'm wondering what exactly the hell you're waiting for. I'm wondering what the hell else of an apocalyptic nature you're waiting for before you finally say, hey, you know what, maybe I should give Za'Darius Smith a call and be like, hey, maybe we can do like a 2-year, $10 million deal or something like that, so that way we can just get you into camp. Like, I'm just wondering, I'm like, what the hell else do we have to have? What the hell else body blows do we have to have? How many more things have to pile up of where players can't play because, oh, that's right, they're dealing with something, or they're not able to come in and play because of injuries? Because again, another guy that we heard about that, potentially he's not going to be able to do anything until early September, and that's just starting to get back out on the field, is freaking Pascal. So it's like, wait a minute here. You don't have Pascal until early September. You don't have McNeil until probably around Thanksgiving or after the midpoint of the season. You've lost Levi for the entirety of the year. And again, that's just the interior component primarily. When you get to the exterior, again, like I said, you've got an all-pro player that, again, I have all the confidence and faith in the world in Hutchinson. You have a rookie that I have a lot of confidence and faith in, but again, has not done anything in the NFL. And then you've got a guy who has been an all-injury designation ever since he's been pretty much in the NFL. So it's like, okay here. I'm not an NFL GM. I admit that. But I do have a brain. I do have common sense. I do have the ability to add 2 + 2 gets to 4. I'm seeing a lot of freaking question marks around this defensive line unit, of which you have pumped an immense amount of resources in. But the one resource that everybody and their brother keeps telling you should probably make a good investment in bringing back, a guy that wants to come back, so that way you could shore up that defensive line unit, being Ziggy Smith, you have been notoriously quiet and sat on your hands. I'm just like, okay here, I'm wondering what has to happen before we finally get the news that Ziggy Smith comes back. Because with Levi now out for the whole year, it's like, okay, not exactly the news I was wanting to hear, especially when I woke up this morning, but that's the news. And now it's like, okay, with everything else that's going on, it's like, okay, I'm really, really curious to see how this defensive line unit is going to work, especially when you have all of these new players that are coming in and plugging in, because either, 1, players are not here from previously, or because 2, they can't be because they're dealing with injury. So yeah, as my thumbnail quite plainly puts it out there, the body shots, they're already piling up. We're getting more bad news. Things are already not looking good, and we have not even started training camp. Training camp is not going to start officially for another 2 more days. And it's like, dude, we haven't even put on the damn pads yet. And you guys all know me. I'm one of the most optimistic, one of the most, rah-rah up, kind of guys that's in the podcasting business. But it's like, dude, there's only so much I can say before it's like, dude, I got to take a look at the reality of the situation. I'm just like, okay here. Something does not smell right in Denmark here, and I'm really curious as to why we are still in the same boat we've been in for the last couple of months, when we have a guy that literally is giving you every signal in the world that says, I want to be here, but yet you're over here saying, not yet, not ready. It's just like, what else do we have to do here? What else has to be done to get you to bring him back in? I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, folks, not exactly the podcast that I wanted to make today, but again, part of the life of being a podcaster is you have to take the news that you have and you have to react to it. And for me, I always react honestly. Not necessarily saying it's always correct, but I do react honestly when I get the news that I get. And this is news that is not welcome. It's not good. And when you stack it all into all the other stuff that's going on, it doesn't paint a pretty picture. And I, for one, am not about lying. I refuse to do it. I refuse to, put out a bed of roses when something smells like crap. And this is one of those things where it's like, I'm smelling a lot more of manure than I am of the byproduct of manure, which is those roses. And so I'm really kind of curious as to what happens next. I really am. But anyway, folks, that's my message. Just wanted to put it out there, so I'm just going to say thank you all for watching yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. If you like what you saw, by all means, I highly encourage y'all to watch the next episode. Also want to encourage y'all, if you like the content, to please subscribe if you've not done so in the past. Also want to say this, if you do like the content and you've also not done so, please, by all means, hit that bell notification icon so that way you guys never miss any more content that I push out. Hope you all have something in your life that makes you happy, makes you smile. God bless, my friends. And until the next time we meet, I'll see you all in the next episode.